This is a show how for our berm scheduling system, and what we're going to do is give a little background on how we got to this and then to walk through the actual use of the eKanban project board all the way through the value stream at every functional step. So the whole point here is that the eKanban is for getting consistent, transparent communication throughout the value stream of everything that's going on. Everyone can see it. We play into the wisdom of crowds. We're able to then status what's happening at each step. And then, of course, what we want to ultimately get to is, because we have consistency of our process and understanding, and we can see it, and we have data that's being collected on actually what's happening, we can improve our scheduling. The agenda for this particular presentation is that what's the need or the challenge that we have, what were the basic choices in going with this sort of an approach as to the many other options that are available. And we're going to walk through the eKanban, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do as we go forward and how we can continuously improve this system as we all use it together. So the scheduling system needs and challenges basically go like this. It's more about communication of commitments and requirements all the way through from the first of where the sale is made all the way through the manufacturing and fabrication processes every step of the way, and then finally to the shipping and getting the product to the customer and getting paid. So everybody needs the same information for accuracy and efficiency. As we look at these processes, we know in the house all this information is readily available, but it's amazing how many times missing pieces of information occur where they're most desperately needed somewhere specific within the process. We need everyone in the value stream to see the same thing, and so we need a place both for them to get the information and then the posting the information or any questions or tag things so that everybody will know what the concerns are as something might go through the fabrication process. We need to have real-time status, which correctly and accurately models the frontline work. Since we are a custom fabrication facility, everything's not repeated again and again and again. We need to be able to communicate specific issues or changes or updates to information. We also need flexibility and scalability that will facilitate the growth of our product line and our company and ultimately our whole team. And so we need to support the essential disciplines of communication, responsibility, and continuous improvement. Really, that we all work together in a collaborative fashion to use our collective wisdom and tribal knowledge to do a better job and more efficient job that makes us more profitable and stand out in the marketplace. So here's some basic choices. You could do physical scheduling boards. You can do electronic scheduling boards, homegrown from Excel, and we've done these. We've done the physical before. And of course we have Global Shops itself, which is a very complex system which can do scheduling. Okay, and then of course we can use one of the Web 3.0 type tools, which are relatively inexpensive. They're online. They're available from anywhere, anytime, and that you can use a smartphone or a tablet to access the information. So with all that in view, we basically say we need to be able to communicate very clearly, real-time, accurately, have flexibility, and we need to status things. We need to have everybody connected so we can collaborate. We can all see. We can use wisdom of crowds, if you will. And of course, this needs to be inexpensive. And so ultimately, as we look through this, the consensus on the development team was the eKanban board satisfied all of these needs efficiently. Now let's turn to the thinking and the real issues, the daily issues of actually managing the berms through the production process. We need scheduling flags, special issues. We need to know open purchase. All these bullet points, by the way, were collected from individuals that had issues or problems and actually attending production meetings. And so all of these, have to do, as much as with anything, communication and statusing, and then of course scheduling. Everybody being fully aware and plugged in on these things, and then of course the details of operation and the details of how to make a product accurately and completely and get it shipped out on time to satisfy the customer. So again, there are numbers of requirements and very specific. These aren't theoretical needs, they are actual needs. So but here's sort of the distillation of all that. Can we have things ready when they're needed? This is the biggest issue. Can we work with the space and can we know where things are in the workflow at any given time? Can we keep up with the emerging information? Can we keep things clear? Can people that are doing the real work communicate effectively to everyone else in the process? What is the expectation when something's supposed to be delivered in terms of production time? Also, what is the expectation of ultimate delivery? And the other question is, am I on track? How far am I off? What can I do to make it up? Can I, post the need for help or missing items or something? Can I see if there are material outages that I need to wait on? So I'm not starting to work on something realizing that this thing is on hold, or we're held up because of materials or some other point. And can I get a list ahead of time? Can I see when things first hit so I can see what's coming down the production line in the future so I can get things ready and plan work effectively? Here's the overview of the basic value stream, which is similar to most anything else that we do in a custom fabrication facility. We start with the sales, and then we, of course, have an engineering activity which makes sure that all the details of the product are correct and accurate. And with that engineering, there's the need to issue a materials requirement within our system and get the material handling, the material acquisition, and the material subassemblies made. And then we get into the actual fabrication and manufacturing of the product. And here we stage and prep things and organize them. We assign them to the different work teams and work locations. We then get our materials together and cut. Cutting is a big deal, and material handling is a big deal. Then finally we get to the specialty work that we do for sealing, and then we do the final assembly, and then finally we package things so that it's ready for shipping, and then we ship it out the door. That makes perfectly good logical sense. There's just a myriad of details that make this work efficiently and effectively. And one of the things that we wanted to do is that all information should come from one primary source. And that one primary source is going to be a sales order within Global Shop. So for customer service, as soon as there's an order, customer service should be able to take the information from Global Shops or the master schedule and import it in. And this is their process for doing that. We'll, without getting into all the nitty-gritty, the customer service folks have this information and know how to do this, and we train specifically on this, just like in any of our other functional steps on all the nitty-gritty details. But so you know that this information comes from the master information. That means that if you see something inaccurate, you know that you need to communicate all the way through so things can be corrected and updated. And here's the detailed step-by-step that they do and what they're trying to accomplish. Here are the general posting rules. I'm going to cover these before I actually walk through. Any change to what's really on the floor needs to be posted to the Kanban. Okay. Also, the big issue is I can see what's coming. When it's moved to me in my functional step on the visual eKanban, that should be the key that it's also moved physically within the actual value stream. If it's not, one or the other of these needs to be changed. And typically I will have the visual movement in the eKanban which says, okay, get the work ready, okay, and then I move it to the next step. And that's as simple as it is. It's not complicated. But the point is, if it's too far out of line, we need to know that, and we need to problem solve that as a team to make sure that at any given time we have the most accurate information, and therefore if there's an issue, we know that we need to specifically take that on as a team. Once again, here's a quick overview, and we're actually going to walk through the system now. We're going to start in the beginning. If I was doing the sales order, this is what I see. And I just say in this particular one, let me describe this card. You have the work order number up on the top, what the product is, a few details, but I can get more details. Okay, before I dig in, one thing is I have the quantity of these that need to be produced, and I have the due date all right here on this card. That is a lot of information. If I want to, I can see more detail if I double click on this. As you see, this opened up. I have a repeat here, but I have more detailed information here. I also have some things inside of this which give me, again, the due date and how many. We can do more things with this, which is we can put more comments, we can assign to users, we can tag things, we can actually attach things, and we can look at a history. The reason I'm showing this is so that we can think about how we can improve this as we go forward. We have total control of the development of the system. So there's shortcuts. If I click over this little triangle on the card when I hover, then I will get more information. I can view card details, comments, and so forth. I can create a copy. I can move the card to some other place. I can assign it to someone. I can delete the card, and so forth. So this is just a quicker way to get information. Notice the colors that you're seeing here and some other symbology before we move on. The date flag on this thing is yellow. It says this item is due in this week. When it is white, it means it's in the future. When it is red like these, it actually means it is past due. So you see right off the bat, we have this system telling us things. Down here, you see we have something that's being cut that's not due for a while. And that's interesting while we would be working on that. When we actually have these that are yellow, so there's that makes us have a discussion and a dialogue. Why are we doing work that's not due when we have all this work that is due or past due? Once I'm through with my piece of the process, I'm in sales now. I just completed this and entered it. I'm going to move it to engineering. When engineering gets this, that's their trigger to create a work order. Okay, and so once engineering sees this in their work queue, their column, if you will, then what they do is they produce a work order. And when they do that, their work order triggers within Global Shops, which is where this is created, and it triggers a material requirement that goes to the material acquisition team, and they make sure we have the material in inventory. Okay. Notice here also, though, if when I was making this originally, there is a special note on the work order, then customer service puts that note. And here in this case, on this collapsible wall, it says, I want these boxed individually. Obviously, this is a customer requirement for some reason, and that's being communicated. In this case, with this tag, notice it's bulk packaged. Now, if something should happen while I'm working on this, let's say there's a material outage, I can update this tag. I can put multiple tags on here. So I'm going to click on this just now. It opens up, but I can take this tag, and I can, under advanced settings, put my own tag. See me before working. So I just put that on there. And now when I hover over this, I got two things. I can see that it's supposed to be bulk package, and I need to see me, whoever me is, before working. Okay, so I don't have to go into it. I'm going to go into this now and take that out. Advanced settings, and click on that, and then I'm going to save that. Okay, so you see that's a very powerful way to quickly make comments or check on things. And notice from staging, the production and fabrication team can then assign each of these to the main machines that are working on this. They've decided they want their work broken out into machines. Now notice there's one other big thing here. When you see these colors, what we've had a problem with in the past is work going through and everything not keeping up. We have multiple shipping requirements. Whenever things are purple, in this case, or dark shaded, that means there's a co-part of this work order that has to go together. And so that's what we have to make sure of. And all this does is says, as I'm the team working on this, or I'm going to ship, I need to make sure that everything travels together. And so as you can see, there's much in progress on machine 1 for that team, and then it comes to the end where it's ready to be shipped. When shipping is done, they need to make sure, like on this item right here, that there's a ground tarp that goes with this same job number, and they should ship together. This is pretty much a walk down of this, but as you can see, it's very flexible. We can make changes. We own this system and do not have to rely on a program. If we need to make change, we can very quickly make changes. So if it's not working for you, please communicate that. And so we saw again how our eKanban system reflects physical mapping. And as we go forward, we want to, as I just said, have the development team to keep walking through choices and solving day-to-day communication, statusing, and scheduling problems, and that includes everyone involved. We will, from this, build what we call capacity and loading tables to improve our scheduling. And as we look at what's working and what's not working, we can refine this board to better communicate what's going on more efficiently and effectively. And again, what we want to emphasize is that if something's not working, we can make the change. And we need to do this very quickly as we problem solve and work through our issues. And so what we want to do is invest just a few minutes on a weekly basis to challenge ourselves, look at the system, resolve issues, and improve this system. And you are the key to making it better.